So this is episode 2, or say part 2. Whoa, what? Okay. This is part 2 of my very important conversation of animals. Today we're going to be talking about the ancient flamingos of Japan. And when people first found out about them, they were they lived in the high mountains, and some could fly on clouds. But others, they migrated towards the north, towards Eastern Asia. Um, they liked Eastern Asia, so they kept living there. And then the Eastern Asians kind of killed them. So now there's not many of them anymore. And today, in this game, we might find some of them. I'm not sure. It's gonna be pretty hard. Uh, these things are pretty rare, but it's kind of cool if we were to be able to find some of these guys. It's a pretty cool thing. So it'd be great if we could find one. And their favorite, their favorite food was the the northern shrimp. That's why they migrated north. Um, and the temperature was a little bit warmer. They liked the warm temperature. So they migrated north for the food and the temperature. And what they didn't know was that the prey was there a lot, and those were the ancient bulls, uh, which now roam over almost all of North India. Um, but it's not very known in other places. They live in mostly just North India and nowhere else. North India is pretty much the only place that they actually live in. Um, if you ever find them in another place, that's pretty rare. But we're talking about the flamingos today mainly. And with the flamingos, is they loved the shrimp, the northern shrimp. They lived on the clouds. They still lived high up in the clouds with the northern shrimp. Northern shrimp were really hard to catch. That's why they liked them so much. But flamingos had good night vision, and the northern shrimp came out at night. And the northern shrimp, once they were seen, they would kind of like have a seizure a little bit, and then they would get eaten because they had a seizure and they couldn't protect themselves. But if they don't have a seizure, they kind of the flaming they kind of kill the flamingos because they're pretty strong. They have pretty strong arms. If you never knew, and the flamingos, they were scared of that, even though it barely ever happened. So the flamingos would go in packs to make sure that the shrimp saw them. So they would surround them in circles, and then the bulls would come in and surround the flamingos in circles, so it looked like a party. And when that happened, uh, it was dangerous for the ants, because the ants are what shrimp eat, and then the ants pretty much had nowhere to go, so they unleashed their secret powers and started eating everything. And the ants, when they ate everything, they would then smell really bad, which would attract uh, which would attract the ants' predator, which was um, the pig. We're going back to the pig. This is lesson 5, actually. We're talking about the main lesson we're talking about right now is 10 through 14. I mean, I'm sorry. 10 through 14. It's one of the most important lessons of all. It's kind of interesting. Lessons 10 through 14, the most action-packed lessons. You gotta listen to these lessons. So when these pigs smelled all these ants after they had a killing spree of all the bulls, flamingos and shrimp, the pigs would come, and if the shrimp didn't kill everything fast enough, the pigs would die to everything there because they're weak to bulls and flamingos. Not shrimp. They can eat shrimp. The pigs, they're good at eating shrimp. But everything else, uh, it's kind of like this guy. Like, if a pig were to come over here and saw an ant, it's like this guy. This is the ant, and I was the pig. It's a very, very good representation. Um, so when that happened, uh, the pigs would then hibernate because they had a full tummy. They hibernate at any time of the year. It doesn't really matter what time it is of the year. They just love hibernating because they enjoy it. They love the smell of the sleeping, and it smells like the ants when they're asleep, and they love that. But if they forget to hibernate, the bulls will come back and kill them because they still smell the smell, and if they still smell the smell after a while, because once the ants are eaten, they don't smell anymore because it's in the pig's stomach. So if they still smell the smell, they will come over and eat the pigs, because then there's barely any more ants that can eat them. So if the bulls come over and eat the pigs, it's not good because we like pigs. That's what lesson 1 told us. Pigs are on our side. We want to keep the pigs, and cows, bulls, and flamingos aren't on our side. So we kind of want to preserve the pigs as much as we can and help them. But if we're not able to do that, we kind of have to not help the pigs, and we have to run. Because if the bulls see us, we have no chance of survival. Because like the whales, they have big tongues that they reach out, and then you die. So if that happens to you, you kind of can't live. I'm sorry that you had to hear that. But if you ever see a bull and there's pigs, just expect to die. You don't really have a chance at survival. But if the pigs have the laces, like I told you last episode, if you haven't seen last episode, you should probably watch that first, because there's a lot of important information that you need to hear from there. If they have the laces around their nose, they can send the rainbow at the bulls, and then we can have teamwork, and we can go in and kill the bulls because they're rainbowed. But they aren't hurt by it. They're just like stunned for a minute. So we can do the finishing blow, because the pigs can only rainbow for a certain amount of time, and if that is happening, they can't go in for the bulls, because it's like a chain reaction. Once one pig starts doing a rainbow, they all start doing a rainbow. Uh, it's like that. It's like if I step on that, everything will die. Just like if I step on a rainbow, a pig will step on. Oops, what? Never mind. I forgot what I was talking about. Um, yeah, I always forget about this. I don't know why. It's very important message though. You have to know about it. Um, and if you don't, then you don't deserve to live. So if the pigs, let's see, if the pigs hear you, that if they know you're there, they will rainbow. They will only rainbow if they know you're there. That's why you have to call them out also. If you remember my special call from last episode, you still have to watch it. If you haven't, come on, go watch it. There's a lot of backstory to all this. And I want views. Okay, so subscribe. So when these pigs hear you, their rainbow gets stronger and stronger the more you call. So then you're pretty much safe. If you're always with a group of pigs, you're safe. Unless the super uh unless the whales are there. You can't go against the whales unless there's something else to help you. I forgot to talk about that. As well, actually no. If the whales are there, you can actually beat whales. What I was talking about is if the dolphins don't like you, they can beat you no matter what. So there actually is a way to defend that, but that's the secret. I can't tell you about that because then I'd have to be killed by the whales, and I don't have any pigs on my side right now, so I'd kind of be dead. So I don't want to do that, but I will tell you another time if I'm ever to escape the whales. But right now, I can't tell you because then the whales will kill me, and we don't want that, because I need to tell you everything you need to know before you die about the pigs. So, or the whales, I mean, and, well, everything. I need to tell you about these stories. Um, so when, let's see, what was I talking about? Actually, you know enough about that. When the pigs, if the pigs ever know, if there's a whale and a bull together, they can unleash special powers, and then their tongues uh double the heat, because they're really like, they're really heated tongues. Um, so they unleash the heat of the world, and then it's the heat of the sun, pretty much. And you don't want that. We don't want the heat of the sun on us. That's not a good thing. But unless the flamingos come in and help you, because the flamingos don't like the sun. So if they unleash the sun, the flamingos will help you if they're there, because they realize that they're enemies of the bull and the whale. Even though, well, the bull and the whale pretend that they're with the flamingo, but they're actually not, because they just because they like sun, and the flamingos don't, because they're always in the sky, and the sky is in the middle of the earth, if you didn't know. So um, in the middle of the earth, also there's these special things that there's uh, uh, there's dogs in the middle of the earth. They like the sun. So yeah, you never want to see a dog. Don't dogs. They don't like you. Um, if you're away from the sun, they think that you're enemies of them, because they think you don't like the sun. Even though we don't care if we see the sun, we just care if they attack us or not. And if they do, well, we have to get all our friends to attack against them. And that's how I'm teaching you to defend against yourself if like a whale or a bull ever attack you right now. This is lesson 43. I'm skipping a few, but we'll go back because there's a lot more you need to know. About the dogs is lesson 43. We don't need to know about the dogs right now. But if you ever see a dog, which you probably won't for a while, because they're pretty rare, because in the middle of the earth they don't usually stray far from that, and you're not in the middle of the earth, so I don't know what I'm doing right now. If you ever go to the middle of the earth, just expect to see a group of dogs, and they will probably attack you. So don't do that. Um, I'm just gonna go in because I want to see a dog in the middle of the earth. This guy also wants to see a dog, but he missed. Oh no. We lost one of our helpers. This is actually not a dog. I thought it was for a second. What? Okay. So if you ever see a dog, run away for your life, because you're gonna die. If you die for your life, then you won't live, and it's not good. Unless a pig comes and saves you. Pigs and dogs have equal power, so if there's nothing assisting them, they'll just send a. Oh, I forgot to say, I completely forgot to tell you about this. The dogs attack you with a rainbow also, but it's just as powerful as the pigs, unless they have the bulls on their side. And if they have the bulls on their side, then they will beat you. But if you're on their side with the bulls, then you will beat them. Or I mean, you'll be equal. If I'm trying to make this more easy to learn, so you guys can remember how to live. So if you ever see a pig and a bull, you want to run away. And now the cows, they have nothing to do with this. They live on another planet. We have seen the Unleash the Cow. Now, you unleash the cow because they don't care about you. They don't care about this planet unless you unleash them. And if you unleash them, they don't like you because they like sleeping. And if they're not unleashed, they're sleeping. So if you stop their sleeping, they will attack you, because as you saw in last episode, that's what we were talking about also. Again, Go watch that episode. It's pretty great. So if you ever see a cow, you're dead unless you have the pig with you. That's their one weakness, as I said last episode, I believe. I'm kind of blanking out on a few of these things. But yeah, the cows. If a cow ever notices you, then they will attack you because they don't like you at their place because they think you'll wake up the other cows. And cows like cows, which makes sense. But if you ever wake a cow, just expect to be attacked by a cow, a cow army. Ooh, okay. I got attacked by a pig right there because I attacked them. Whoops. So yeah, but this is a new world, so we're all good. The pigs like us again because I didn't attack them. Okay, so yeah, the cows when you if you ever sniff a cow, they don't like you also. They'll attack you even more with their full power if you sniff them. If you don't sniff them, they'll attack with half power, which is much better, even though they'll probably kill you anyway. But if you sniff them, they realize that you actually have the potential to kill them, so they unleash full power. Because when you sniff them, they notice that they smell bad, and when they smell bad, they faint because they don't want to smell bad. And if they smell bad, if they don't smell bad, they don't care. But that's a very low percentage of the population of cows. Most of them smell bad. Some of them get this ancient thing called sulfur that they rub on themselves, and it makes them smell better. But if they don't have that, they know they smell bad, so they attack you when you sniff them because they think you're calling them smelly. So that's about the cows. That's most of the stuff you ever need to know about cows. So next animal we need to talk about is the penguin. Now these things, they love you. They will go by your side no matter what. If you call for them, they will go by your side. Because they can fly. If they hear your voice, they can fly. I forgot to call out for them. That's why I fell. So yeah, I forgot to call out for them. Um, I saw a cow, so I kind of had to run. So if you, the cow used the force on me. They can do that if you didn't know. Um, yeah, the penguins, they have a rainbow, and if the rainbows of the pig and the cow join together, they can defeat the what is it? The dog. They can defeat the dog no matter what, and that is a good thing. It's good to defeat the dog. Defeating the dog will gain you full power and recognition from your army. They love you if you ever defeat the dog. You'll be all powerful and loved. But if you don't defeat the dog, they don't like you. So defeating the dog is actually a very useful thing if you want power. Power in the dog army is very different from power in the pig slash penguin slash, well, flamingo is actually on our side, but they think they're on the bull's side, and the whales. Yeah. So if the flamingos think they're on their side, then you gotta kind of run. It's kind of hard to know if the flamingos are on your side right now. But if they are on your side, then they are very powerful against everything else because they know their weaknesses. They never tell them because they don't speak our language. That is why it's also so hard to tell if they like you or not, because they can't tell you if they're on your side. And they're very bad liars. So if they were able to be, if they were able to tell you, we would know. Uh, but if they have a translator person, uh, which is the shrimps actually translate. Ooh, okay. The shrimps can translate what the flamingos say. So they actually, because of the bulls attacking the pigs, which attack the things that attack them, which are. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Oh, it's the ants. The ants are the things that can tell the language of the flamingos. So yeah, because they tell it to the pigs because the pigs attack the shrimps, which attack them. Um, so let's just play again. New world, great. So that is actually lessons 8, 9 through 20, and I also told you lesson 43, which was a very important one if you wanted to know extras about dogs. But you don't need to know much about them yet. They have a lot of different powers. But if you can, they very rarely unleash their full power. And if they do, or well, if they can, there's a very low percentage that are able to release their full power. But if they do, you have no chance at survival. I'm very sorry. There's no chance. But yeah, if they don't unleash their full power, it's actually pretty easy to get them. But the worry thing is that they might have full power abilities, and if they do, then you have no chance of survival. So that's actually this episode. That's all there is to say today. Um, Next episode will probably be like lessons 21 through 34. There's a lot of those are just extra details about shrimps and ants because they are very good at languages. That's why I confused the shrimp with the ant, because they actually they have very similar powers in which they both tell languages, except they just don't decide to tell with certain things, certain languages. And okay, that's this episode. Next episode, I don't want to tell you too much about next episode because it's very exciting. Because there's a lot of things interconnected about the languages that the things speak. The only things that actually speak our language are pigs, bulls, uh, whales, and shrimps. Yes, okay, but shrimps don't like to talk to us because they don't like us. Um, so that's this episode. And actually, cows can speak all languages. If you didn't know, cows are all powerful. They can speak all languages. It makes sense. But next episode, I will talk about more. So that's it. Goodbye.